30 famous quotes from American presidents. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thomas Jefferson, Declaration of Independence, 1776. All tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent. Thomas Jefferson, as quoted in a letter to Benjamin Franklin, 1795. A democracy is nothing more than mob rule, where 51% of the people may take away the rights of the other 49. Thomas Jefferson, letter to John Taylor, 1816. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Abraham Lincoln. A speech at Illinois State Convention, 1858. We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. Abraham Lincoln. First Inaugural Address, 1861. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Abraham Lincoln. Gettysburg Address, 1863. I have always found that mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. Abraham Lincoln, Second Inaugural Address, 1865. I know only two tunes. One of them is Yankee Doodle, and the other isn't. Ulysses. S. Grant, as quoted in the New York Times, 1877. Speak softly and carry a big stick. You will go far. Theodore Roosevelt. Speech at Minnesota State Fair, 1901. The business of America is business. Calvin Coolidge. Speech of the American Society of Newspaper Editors, 1925. Never been hurt by what I have not said. Calvin Coolidge, as quoted in the New York Times, 1925. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Franklin D. Roosevelt, Inaugural Address, 1933. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. Franklin D. Roosevelt, Second Inaugural Address, 1937. The power of imagination makes us infinite. John Muir, as quoted by Franklin D. Roosevelt in his speech at Yosemite National Park, 1940. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Franklin D. Roosevelt, Message to Congress, 1941. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. John F. Kennedy, Inaugural Address, 1961. We are not afraid to entrust the American people with unpleasant facts, foreign ideas, alien philosophies, and comparative values. For a nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood is an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. John F. Kennedy. Address to the American Newspaper Publisher Association, 1961. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Niccolo Machiavelli, as quoted by John F. Kennedy in his speech at Yale University in 1962. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Martin Luther King Jr. March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, 1963. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Socrates, as quoted by John F. Kennedy in a speech at Amherst College, 1963. I'm not a crook. Richard Nixon, Press Conference, 1973. I can only hope that I will be remembered as a good servant of God and a faithful servant of my country. Gerald Ford. Remarks upon taking the oath of the office, 1974. In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. Ronald Reagan. Inaugural Address, 1981. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. Ronald Reagan. Remarks at the Republican National Convention, 1984. There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America. Bill Clinton. Inaugural Address, 1993. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we see. Barack Obama. Speech at the National Constitution Center, 2008. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time you fall. Nelson Mandela, as quoted by Barack Obama in his speech at the Nelson Mandela Memorial Service, 2030. If your action inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. John Quincy Adams. I never did give anybody hell. I just told the truth, and they thought it was hell. Harry S. Truman, as quoted by Margaret Truman in her book, Harry S. Truman, Father of the Four Winds. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Abraham Lincoln, as quoted by Peter Drucker.